Hey up people, it's been about 2 months and a half since the last devlog and I've got a lot to update you on. Before we get into everything, I wanted to let you guys know that you can actually try out the prototype I've been working on for free on my new Patreon. There's also a Google form on there if you want to leave feedback after playing, but with that out of the way, let's get into the video. So first up, the camera system. Before this update, my combat camera was extremely basic. It worked, technically, but there was nothing cinematic about it. No cool movement, no dramatic skill shots, nothing that actually showed off animations or effects properly. And since this was a game that I wanted to have flashy combat like Persona or Fire Emblem, that became a huge problem. I spent about 2 weeks messing with the camera system and honestly had basically nothing to show for it. Everything else in development had been going really smoothly up until this point, so getting hard stuck here was incredibly frustrating. At one point I thought, alright, maybe I should just commission someone to help me with this. Now I don't exactly have money to throw around, so by the time I decided to look for help, I was already at my limit mentally. I started posting around Discord servers looking for someone who could help build a foundation for the system. Basically, I wanted a setup where the camera animations could be played dynamically anywhere on the map depending on who was using a skill. Then I could go in later and make some unique animations for each skill. I also asked people to show examples of their previous work. Tell me why several people sent me still images. If I ask for camera animation examples, I'm not expecting Pixar quality, but I am expecting a video. How am I supposed to trust someone with the job when they send me a screenshot of Unreal Engine and the sequencer, a blank sequencer at that? I also asked people to tell me their rates directly, but a lot of people ignored that and immediately asked for my budget instead. I get that negotiation is a thing, but I'd rather someone tell me their actual rates up front and go from there. Because the second I mention a budget, suddenly everybody says, yeah, I could totally do the whole project for that amount. One person even told me not to message anyone else because he'd do the project for my full budget. Massive red flag, man. And somehow that's not even the end of it. One guy applied, I politely turned him down, and then he applied again on a second Discord account with the exact same name except different numbers at the end. It was honestly kind of insane. But in the end, I got nowhere with commissions, and so I decided to just lock in and learn it myself. And honestly, I'm glad I did. The camera system actually works with my skills, and I grabbed some free assets for effects while testing everything. Sequencer was definitely a lot to learn, but I think the system turned out pretty well in the end. I still have a long ways to go with the camera animation, but now I actually have a foundation to build on. Outside of the camera work, I also got a ton of smaller features and fixes done that together make a pretty huge difference. I added health bars during skills so you can actually watch HP go down during attacks. Enemies can now also spawn additional enemies when combat starts. And then came the bug fixing art. There was a bug where enemies would teleport back to the origin point if they tried moving onto a tile that they were already standing on. Newly spawned enemies weren't being added to the turn order correctly, so they just get skipped entirely. The game was also trying to give dead units a turn, which soft locked everything. Yeah, that was pretty good. Enemies now always move if you aren't within attack range. And I also fixed a weird issue where the enemy skill effects were showing up in the wrong positions. Oh, and I finally added a game over state when all allies die during combat, which was probably important. I also started building a new stat system for units called Beast Data. This handles stuffs like HP, SP, attack, defense, skills, and basically all of the important unit information. Every unit now has their own Beast Data setup attached to them. At this point, I was also able to get ally units spawning in properly, and they're working pretty well now too. In the overworld, I now have enemy spawners that generate enemies with random levels within a specified range, along with randomized stats based on their base values. I also added level up learn sets into the Beast Data system, so when a unit spawns or levels up, it automatically gains every skill it should know up to that level. And of course, because of that, there's also now a level up system too. Right now you can just see your current level, but eventually I'll add proper experience tracking and more detailed UI for it. Speaking of UI, I also added a bunch more interface work, skill animations, controller support, music, and even a save load functionality. And yes, I'll link the composers in the description as well. Eventually it got to the point where I felt like I finally had to build the game and let friends test it. And honestly, I was really nervous. This game is nowhere near finished. Right now it kind of looks like Discount Among Us, and only I can fully see the vision I have for it in my head. But eventually you have to let people play your game and see what happens. And honestly, watching people play was super interesting because everyone approached the game differently. Unfortunately, my first build also immediately destroyed everyone's eardrum because the music was absurdly loud. Another thing I should have expected, because it's something I would do, is that every single person immediately ran to the edge of the map and to see what would happen. And then they just fell forever. The end. So yeah, I should probably add world borders or something like that. There were also some issues with swapping between the keyboard and controller input, but that's mostly fixed now. There's still one more issue I still have to tackle with that, but that'll be a future problem. There were still a couple of soft-like issues involving the attack command and ally movement, but overall things were going surprisingly well. Or at least, that's what I thought. Until my friend Scythe played the game.
He's going fucking back!
I mean, you doing all of this is not what I imagined. Yep, yeah. Whoa. So yeah, that's why you have a whole different version.
Oh my god! Let's go. Love that. Love that for me.
Love that for me.
I'm fucking shitting on these guys now. Oh, once I learn how to move, it's fucking over, buddy. Ultra death ray. Hold up. Gloves coming off, literally.
Is this guy playing with his fucking steering wheel?
What? What? Game over?
So, yeah. Apparently, if you spam the confirm button, the game just keeps repeating the same action over and over and over. Definitely not intended, but also very good to discover now instead of later, because that bug needs to disappear immediately. But yeah, I think that covers most of the major stuff so far. There's still a lot that I didn't even mention here. I've also been working on things like the lock-on system and the parry mechanics, but those were omitted with this build. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out whether I will want to finally start diving into 3D modeling and character design, or if I should stay focused on the programming systems for now. Either way, like I mentioned earlier, I do have a Patreon now if you'd like to support the project. I'll be posting future builds, behind the scene contents, and other updates there as development continues. But for now, that's going to be it from me. Until next time, stay epic.